Audio from the away end from Alan Fahili and Maggie after Everton went to the capital and won 1-0. Get in. I'm joined by Matt Flusk, Laura, we've got Connor, Dave and Paul as well. I'll come to you first, Paul. I mean, just first and foremost, like, terrible news on Tuesday for the football club.
Yep.
Stuff about a points deduction coming out on Wednesday. Massive credit to everybody involved there to put all that behind them and put in a performance like that. They all deserve a massive pat on the back.
No, absolutely. Look, it's not been the easiest of weeks this week at all. We've had, as you say, the news about the potential points deduction. We've had Bill Kenwright's passing. It just seems like everyone in the media, exception of Martin Samuel and a few others, have tried to stick the boot into Everton this week and kick us while we're down. But watching that today, I thought the players responded absolutely brilliantly. I think Dyche got his tactics spot on. I think every player to a man today performed the role to the very best of their ability. And I know we'll come on to him later, but Jared Branthwaite, what an exceptional player we've got on our hands. He was just so composed. Nothing got past him. He cleared everything away. And he even had a big hand in setting up the goal for Dom today. So I'm really delighted with that today. Proper professional performance.
Yeah, that's spot on. I think the comment there about Branthwaite, I said it throughout the game as well. I don't want to be on a downer, but I'm usually renowned for that with our podcast, Arnie. He won't be at Everton long, that lad, but at least at least our financial situation will be sorted by the time he leaves.
Can we just talk about how good he is?
Yes, he is. Yeah. He was how old is he? 22. Was it 22? Someone knows. It's 21, 22. He plays like he's in his early 30s. Just the sense that he's got, it makes feel when I see him get the ball, when I see him head the ball, it feels comfortable. I don't think I've felt like that with an Everton centre back. Maybe Jagielka at his peak, but he's nowhere near him. How many games has he played for us? 20 odd. If 20 odd, he's magnificent as a centre back, and it makes me feel a lot more safer when he's there. And I know we've had a shocking start to the season. League table looks a bit more healthy now, doesn't it?
Still the exact same position.
I'm not arsed by that, mate. I'd be arsed if we won every week and we're still 17th. That'll do for now. In regards to other players, I thought that was a game plan that Sean Dyche has set up. Is the intent that he's aimed for recently. I don't want to talk about last week too much there, but there was signs to that against Liverpool and how we wanted to set up until the time we put 5 men at the back. But today, it felt everyone was really secure. I think what you said about the week gone is really important as well, because the mentality of Everton and our team has been, let's face it, weak for a long, long time. To be able to stand up, put their heads high and be able to get that effort that they put in today, from each of them that played, apart from one that you're probably going to mention soon. He thinks he's not allowed to. But anyway, magnificent performance. Defended superbly well. I don't think I've seen us that good so far this season.
Yeah, it wasn't vintage, was it? Especially in the first half. We always say, like, it was a very, very much a 1 o'clock kick-off game. I mean, I was reminded of the quote from Wayne Rooney about shoving pasta down your throat at 9 o'clock in the morning, and it looked a lot like that in the first half. We were a bit leggy. They were leggy, obviously, from Thursday, but those are the games where you do need to really dig in and dig out the points. And I think Sean Dyche is probably the perfect manager to get our players in the mentality of doing that, like digging it out and seeing it out as well. It was a bit towards the end, obviously it looked a bit like we were under siege, but I don't think they really had any, other than the one where Pickford made a great save, which I think turned out to be offside anyway. There wasn't any like massive heroics needed. It was just a very solid wall of defence to see out that 1-0 win. And yeah, no one's going to go look back on that as one of the highlight games of the season, but it's fantastic 3 points, and Sean Dyche's away record at this point must be pretty decent.
Yeah, I can only echo the lads there about the mentality. I thought that really summed up like the siege mentality that Dyche is trying to install and has been for a while, because they just didn't really threaten us for large parts of the game. Fair enough, it was a very leggy to start with. But just thought we were in control for the most part, and two-man kept the shape really well. And even our weaker performances in recent weeks, like Patson, Mikalenko, were really well, played really well. Tarkowski, for the first time in a while, I thought played pretty well to use the struggles against West Ham. Branthwaite again, like, what a player, just what a player. Not going to go as far as call my Rolls Royce just yet, but what a player. I thought I would have liked to see another substitution just to sort of calm us down completely. I thought Harrison and McNeil were a bit leggy overall. Provided quality time for a bit leggy, and I would have just liked to see something else. But if that's your complaint on that day, sounds.
Laura's got a bit of a hangover. Did you feel a bit better after that?
I mean, it certainly woke me up when we scored. I was feeling a little bit rough throughout that game there, but the 3 points certainly helped. I know we've all spoken a lot about Branthwaite today, but he is a special player. And I know Dave has said, he's not staying here long.
Already selling him.
I know, and he's already trying to sell him, but I really wish we weren't in this position where we're always constantly thinking about, he's really good him. Now when's he going to leave?
Now is the time to talk about how great.
Hey, look, I'm hungover. I've got the Sunday scaries here. But I thought Dom had a class game as well today, holding the ball up well, made some good runs. He's dropping back as well to receive the ball, and just some good headers in there as well. And I'm just so glad to see him back to sort of the sort of levels he was before he was having his issues with injuries. Long may that continue, and he probably should have had another goal there today.
Just a point to talk about when we carried on the game. When we go 1-0 up there, it's standard of what happens with teams when they go 1-0 up away from home against the side you think are going to score against you. It'll be a Sean Dyche thing that's probably the top of his list. But to stand back then, start stepping back, you drop back 5-10 yards when they're going to come forward, it feels like a natural thing. I actually have a question for you, Matt, on this. What you thought about that when we've gone 1-0 up there, immediately step back. Obviously we come out the game having defended really well, as we've said, but do you think that's the way to sort that out?
Yes, yeah, definitely. If it would have been mad for us to have gone 1-0 up and then start flying at them.
Well, we were flying at them anyway, were we?
Exactly, because so it was working. In the first half, and Matt will score tests of this. We were speaking at half time. We both said, "Look, I feel like we're going to nick this 1-0." It just felt like one of those games, and we've been in that position, putting it off with Moyes, the West Ham were today, when you've got a home game on a Sunday after the Europa League game. No one can really be arsed of it. You're in a bit of an iffy form. You've got new players that aren't quite settled. Just don't give them anything. I think that was always the main thing. So they go there and just don't do anything that's daft, and don't give them any route into the game. And they had a few little flurries in the first half, but we had the biggest chance. Harrison should have played in Dom or played in Decore. And then I think when we go 1-0 up, we still have the best chances in the game.
That's the only thing why it was a loaded question to you, is because when we're doing that and sitting back, like you said there, quite correctly, but we don't have a regular decent outlet there. I thought the ball didn't get up to Calvert-Lewin enough when we were trying to get the ball to release. The Corey started falling over and dancing and things like that. I didn't see us having a player that you'd happily put in that midfield just outside who were able to get the ball and turn it round. I'm not talking about trying to counter-attack all the time, because to be honest, I don't think we're good enough to do that consecutively. I just thought that when we're all after half an hour, with half an hour left, we're all sitting here shitting ourselves. I just think, is there a better way for Everton to get about that?
I didn't feel... Was you shitting yourself at the end there, really?
I think towards the end of the game, I think it was the closer it was getting to full time, knowing that we were close to winning, I was a little bit antsy, just wanting us to see it out. I think there have been other games, though, and I think back to last week, where we've faced a lot of pressure, and to be fair, even at Anfield last week, I felt we withstood that pressure really, really well, and the same again today. I think before Calvert-Lewin scored, and even in the first half, I was sort of thinking maybe take off one of McNeil or Harrison, and I know we had a conversation about Danjuma before the game, maybe putting him on, but I think as the game went on, I think putting Garner Gray on might have been a decent option, but then obviously when we take the lead, I think you don't want to change too much, because it was obviously the plan that Dyche laid out today was going well. Everything that he'd set out, we were doing really well, so there wasn't really a need to change too much. So as far as I'm concerned, I think obviously the closer we were to full time, and knowing that, again, this is a quote we've heard quite a lot this afternoon, that we are Everton, there was a bit of antsiness in me, but I think the longer that went on, West Ham didn't really have any clear-cut chances. There was that one that fell to Kudus and he was offside anyway. But I think Pickford, by and large, had very little to do. He kept us in the game with a few saves, and he made some really great responses from Souček and Kudus. But I didn't feel like we were going to throw that away today, which feels absolutely mad, but lovely to say as well, that I felt comfortable for the first time in a long time that Everton were going to see that out.
Yeah, totally agree. And
Thanks, lads.
No, it's just I think we've all criticised Dyche at times, but I think the one thing he does know is he knows what this side is and what it isn't, and this is a side that if you're going to get a result away from home, it's going to be get a goal and try and defend.
Talking Dyche?
Yeah, like that.
I think it's too early to say that.
But look at that today. They had that chance that Dale's mentioned there, which Pickford made a save from anyway, and there was a volley at the back post from Ben Rama, which he saved as well. That's the best chance of the game after we score is Decore when he's through on goal, and their keeper makes an outstanding save, to be fair to him. And from that point on, we had there were a lot of moments where we had a chance to make a chance of four. We were carrying the ball forward, we had men coming forward, and either Decore picked the wrong pass, or McNeil could have played Chimiti at the end there, and he didn't. So the style was fine for me. But I mean, let's talk about the big man, Matt. DCL, brilliant goal again. And listen, had a bit of a tough game at Anfield the other week. Obviously, he was sort of on his own up there. He went down to 10 men. But you look at the run of games he's strung together now. I think that's 4 in 6. One of those he didn't score in was the Bournemouth game, where he was arguably our best player anyway. Touch all the wood here, but it feels like he's back, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think they've probably cracked it. And they're managing him well. They're bringing him off at the right times. In our chat there, Ed McCosh just mentioned about the subs that were made. He reckons Beto might play the whole game on Wednesday. That's probably a good shout. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Sean Dyche gave him a bit of a rest. But I was speaking to Les at the bar just after the goal, and he made a very good point, saying we did forget in all of his injury struggles just how good a player he is. When he is absolutely fully fit, he's a very, very good striker, and he proved it again today with that little touch and flick, and just the various things we've seen over the weeks, he's sort of chasing dead balls and doing little half flicks and stuff just to try and keep balls alive and create things. It's all well and good having a big target man, but having a player like that up front who can be a target man, who can score headers and stuff, but can also do that little bit of flair and finesse just to keep things alive, that's absolutely invaluable to us. And I think that's going to be probably the biggest factor this season in keeping us safe.
Connor, on Calvert-Lewin, I mean, you were both loving that header he made right at the end to set us up on a counter-attack, and the goal was great, wasn't it, from Dom? But his all-round game today was just outstanding as well. Absolutely
class in his all-round game. That one, I should say, at the end with the header to knock on, it was at the corner he played in. That was reminiscent of probably him at his peak under Ancelotti, where he was just an absolute menace for defenders, and I don't think any of them got close to him. Dealt with him really well at all tonight, and he is still pretty isolated up there. I feel like Decore causes chaos at times, but Calvert-Lewin is still a one-man show up top, and the fact he's still getting the chance he is and creating for other people now, and as I think Flusco said there, I think the manager has cracked a little bit with his injuries, worries, touch wood, because he just looks fit. you can see it, like that confidence is back with him. All his touches are there. He's winning headers. He's just a few more goals under his belt, and we'll be able to say, right, sounds, we've got our striker. Let's not worry about it anymore.
I think he's loving the battle as well, doesn't he? Again now.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he was up against Zuma today. I mean, even looking at the replay, looking back at the goal, there's two of them on him at the same time, and just that swagger that Conor was just talking about that he had under Ancelotti and under Silva, he just seems to have got that swagger back, and like good on him, he took that goal really, really well today under a lot of pressure from the two centre halves, and he just made the finish look so easy.
Calvert-Lewin, Dave, for you.
Do you know what you mentioned there? And I was laughing. I'm glad I wasn't heard when I was doing that. When you said, what is it, a run of 4 and 6, and I'm thinking, like, it shows you how difficult he's found it, and we found it when he's not been inside, when we're buzzing off a run of games like that. But I think it's the type of player with him. I think so many times in his build-up to what he is now for us, we took him for granted a little bit, as in a lot of people that still slate him if he missed chances. I mean, remember when he was playing right wing back under Koeman, and then we started playing him up front, and it was like, yeah, he's all right, him. I'd send him on loan and all that. I thought that might well have happened at certain points, but I think the mentality that lad's got is really, really strong. Seeing him to be able to go through the conditions he had, I'm not just talking about the injury side of things. I'm talking about performances. I'm talking about
Villa away when some fans booed. It feels a long time ago now, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely incredible, really. And you know, look, it's a typical fan thing that happens. Everyone wants to go through those sorts of things if they're seeing it for one game on the pitch. With him now, though, there's a level of consistency that I think many of us would admit to not feeling before that injury. He's come back now. Dare to say it, and again, touch wood as much as you can. But the power he's got, the pace he's got, the intelligence he's got when, let's face it, today a lot of it happened when he's up front on his own. There's no Everton player within 30, 40 yards of him. But he still makes things happen when the ball comes up to him. And that's crucial for us, particularly away from home. And dare to say it, that looks much more comfortable for him to be able to do that, rather than we'll be at Everton against Brighton next week, all of us screaming, oh, why haven't we scored? Doing the typical thing, like if and when Brighton do well against us, we'll all be screaming at that, and then it's like, it feels like parallel with Everton away and at home now, the largest that I think I've ever seen. So, in regards to Calvert-Lewin, I don't have any issue with him being up front on his own. People have banged on about when we got better, or you should play them in a 2. Don't think that suits anything that lad will need. I think he's exactly where he needs to be. He does need to have a 10 around him, which again is a difficult thing away from home. But like you've indicated as well, when you're playing a game like that, you don't necessarily need a 10 when you've got to chase. You've got to chase into the game and you counter attack. And so, yeah, top class that lad. And look, let's hope he's playing 30 games this season. So I guarantee if he's playing 30 games this season, Everton are nowhere near relegation.
Laura, you still in the room? Just wanted to just want to go to the midfield as well, because that's 2 games in a row now where Dyche could have brought Trezeguet off the bench when we've got backs to the wall. He's left him on the bench both times, put a lot of faith in Onana and James Garner, and it just sort of feels like that's the midfield now. It's those two and Decore. Like, Trezeguet getting injured against Bournemouth has sort of ushered in a bit of a change in there, yeah.
I think that Idrissa Gana Gueye injury before Bournemouth has probably been a sort of blessing in disguise, really, for that midfield to sort of come together, and it has worked. I think, I know you were moaning throughout the game about James Garner, and I don't think it was his best performance for us today.
But it's talking about good things.
No, I'm so hungover, Matthew. I can barely speak, actually.
Onana was outstanding.
Onana had an outstanding game today. I don't think, I've been a big critic of his in the past few weeks or so, but he had a fantastic game. I think if he can play like that every week for us, he would be such an important player for us. And to be honest, I'd be glad to see the back of Gana Gueye. I think everyone knows every time I come on here, I basically slag the man off. It's nothing personal, I just don't like him.
Hey, Matt, tell us about James Garner.
I just thought he had a poor game today. That's all. I think
that's really nice compared to the words you've had.
But let's not dig anybody out for stuff he was saying during the game. He's the moment, shall we? But Port, Onana, just feels without Idrissa getting in there, he's just relished taking on that extra responsibility.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment. The last couple of weeks with Onana, I've been critical of him, and my Twitter's there for people to see. I've said, should he be doing more? Could he be doing more? Taking us forward. But I think I've established, and I think we've realised now, he's not that kind of player. He's not a player who's going to be like Jude Bellingham or Steven Gerrard and drive the teams forward. He's very much a defence-minded player, and what he does in that midfield for us, he does really, really well and so effectively. And I think not having Quay there, in a way, has helped him, because it's allowed James Garner to get on the ball more. As you said, I don't think James Garner had the best of games today. I felt he was a little bit wasteful with the ball. But I think Onana today broke everything up. Don't think anything got past West Ham. Don't think West Ham's attacks got past him at all. I thought he broke as much as he could up. And long may it continue. If he carries on in that vein of form and he carries on playing that particular role, then I've got no problem with it.
Do you think the intent of buying him was the role that he's been playing in there, that you've said he's played well?
That's the thing for me.
It feels like that's his position, doesn't it? Do you know what I thought was really good today? There's so many moments he got the ball, in situations where you sort of clench and you're like, oh, he's going to lose it here. But he always found a way out of it. And there's that one right at the end where he got the ball in our box, didn't he? I think it was 90th minute, and everybody else was just hoofing it away. And he got it and was like the West Ham lad squared him up, and he thought, I couldn't run you here.
Yeah.
And he just ran him, got the foul, and that's one of those things. In the moment, you're like, oh God, what are you doing? But actually, that's what really good, confident players do. They take that little bit of risk, and they get the foul, and they buy that extra minute, and that helped kill the game towards the end.
Well, do you know what? I personally, I'm guilty of being a little bit stereotypical with him, because when you pay what we have or what going to about Onana, is thinking you need him to create chances and maybe score a few chances. When we first signed him, I thought we're getting a lad in here who's going to get at least 10 goals a season. He's not that player, and I feel that
the Fellaini comparisons were mad, weren't they?
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of that happens when we sign a player, isn't it? Who does he link to from former Everton players? But I'll admittedly say I've been wrong. Game-wise, I think he's had poor games. But I've been wrong with what the intent is when you put him in. So when you're paying 30-odd million for a player, you're thinking immediately he's going to contribute with goals and chances. That's not the game we bought him for. So I suppose the intelligence needs to be thrown towards Dyson. For once, the rest of the club, we've signed a player that has that intent for us.
Onana and Garner, is that your midfield going forward now, Connor? Don't break that up.
Yeah, you can't. I agree with you there that Garner didn't play really well today. I do think there's a player there, but he needs a run of... He's always needed a run of games, and he's starting to get that now, and he's showing that he's probably our, I'd say, best midfielder on the ball, technically wise. He's not overall, but on the ball, I'd rather him than anyone else. And them two are playing well. You can't break it up. Onana, it's so frustrating. He's got all the potential in the world, and sometimes you see that. Liverpool last week, he was fantastic. Broke that one up when I had that chance.
Yeah.
Second that, I can't remember. And he did that in bits today again. There was one towards the end where he flicked it over the full-back and just killed a bit of time. You thought, right, he's starting to take that next step, but he just needs to add, I think he needs to add goals, and he'll never get, as you say, 10 goals a season, never be that. But if you've got a midfielder who he needs to play to his size, he's 6'4", 6'5", whatever he is, and he does seem a bit he does play a bit diminutive at times, I feel, where he'll get bullied by other players. That didn't happen today, and long may that continue.
And looking ahead, Matt, I'll come to you now. Brighton, we've got Burnley in the Cup on Wednesday, and then Brighton, so 2 home games coming up.
Dave's shaking his head.
Don't go to that game on Wednesday, just fuck it off.
Why?
Because we're not winning that, and we need to win games at all.
My God, even by your standards, you're very negative today. Selling our best player and writing off Burnley at home.
Hang on. No, there's the question. Would you rather take 3 points at home to Brighton or go through to the next round of the Cup, beating Burnley? There's the positivity that I'm the complete opposite of.
But why fine. Like, you know, I think at the moment, like, this is a team that's strayed into playing well.
What 11 you playing our best 11 against Burnley?
I'd say you make 4 or 5 changes. But like,
Sweetie up front.
Beto, Danjuma, probably Michael Keane if he's not too badly injured, plays. Just a game. So yeah, you make a few, but like, I think like, I don't think it's mad to say we're playing well now. Like,
Saturday 3 o'clock.
Have we won 4 of 6? Have we now? Like, you know, that's not. And one of them was last week, which we got a bit screwed over in, really. Like, you know. Anyway, Matt, bloody hell.
I'll be in bed.
Are you feeling positive about the next week as well?
Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely. He's saying this.
Absolutely.
Just doing it to do me in.
And Dave's already dropped an F-bomb, so there's already an explicit tag on this. Going down, are we fuck? Stay up and win the cup. Why not do it all? Why not? We've never won the League Cup. Sean Dyche could be the first manager in Everton's history to win it. Why not?
Do you know who Sean Dyche has asked about that?
Probably, yeah. Probably.
That's
but yeah,
a bad answer.
we'll leave it there anyway. Before we get relegated by the end of this podcast, Jesus Christ. Cheers to everyone who got involved there. That has been your instant reaction for West Ham 0, Everton 1. Get in, up those toffees. We'll speak to you soon.